Good evening or good day, wherever you are. Welcome back, and thank you for joining. Haven't been streaming for quite some time. It's been almost a month. A lot happening in this side. I've had surgery and recovering well from that. Still got a little bit of a limp, but I'm good there, and also a couple other things that are happening in life. But happy to be back. And yeah, really looking forward to getting this machine done. It's been standing for quite some time without any progress. Although in the last week I have done a couple of things, and we'll just go through them. But so if you're watching this live, welcome to the stream. I'm still going to check if my chat is working properly. So let me just check if the chat's working. And I haven't streamed for such a long time. I'm going to figure out half of the buttons again. Hi Terry, how's it going? Glad to see that at least you can see me. I had to try and figure out how to use my microphone again and get all the cameras up and running, and it's been quite a hectic afternoon to try and just get back to a position where I can set up, because this setup that I have over here is not like this all the time. It's also used in the day as an office, so I've got to change a lot of what's happening here. It seems like there could be a little bit of a delay in the stream, so yeah, just bear with us. I'll see how it goes, and we'll take it from there. What has changed? Well, last time I was busy with this, we finished all the trunking, all the wire guides, and got all that up and running. We sort of positioned some of the items on the printer, and I decided to make some modifications. So I've had to print some new adapters, some new clips for the DIN rails, specifically for the 5-volt power supply that I'm going to be using for the Raspberry Pi. I did a complete design of a Raspberry Pi holder with fan, with 80mm fan, inspired by the 120 that I downloaded and printed from Printables, and I'll give those guys some credits now. Yeah, I've printed the DIN rails for the Wago mounts. Those are all in place now, and yeah, changed the adapter behind, as I said, behind the 5-volt to twist the power supply to the side, and yeah, I think it's ready. I think that's pretty much going to be the layout I'm going to be using. I'm going to try and keep going with that layout and see how far we go. Tonight I'm going to work on the AC side, but before I get to that, I think it's just only right that I give a shout out to some of the people that have on Printables, where I grabbed some of these parts or thoughts or designs from. There's a lot of good designs on Printables, and I feel those people need to get the credit where the credit is due. So let me quickly have a look if I do this. Oh no, not that. How about this? Yes. And other camera views you just have to ignore for a moment. So the first one that I'm going to highlight here is from Christian Pedersen. I grabbed his DIN rail idea, and I'll just quickly jump into that just to give him the credit for that. He made these rails that ran across his printer. I unfortunately couldn't use the DIN rails exactly the same way, so I slightly modified them, and I created much bigger two-way rivets to tighten them down. But the concept of his rails came with, I just cut the ends off and I used a center mounting hole instead. But nice design in any case, and it's there. I think it's someone should, if you ever needed to use that. I will also publish all my design pieces at the end of the day. I'll put them onto Printables, everything that I used. The next one is Farnsworth. For Farnsworth, I went and I used the BTT Octopus DIN rail mount. He has a design here where it wasn't for the Octopus Max like I've got, but the Octopus is the same board, and so I could use exactly the same concept. And if you go into his files, you'll see you get the back mount board where it actually clips onto the DIN rail. But if you go into the files, you'll see he's got a design for a 92 and for 120, and this is the 120 fan that I use of his, and I printed this and his base plate, and well, that works really well. So yeah, thanks to Mr. Sorry, his name is Farnsworth again. Nicely done there. The next person, and this person's got a lot of things that I could use, and I am using them as is. I think it's Michael, if I remember correctly. His Wago mounts are definitely over here. You can see I used the Wago mounts from his site. Yes, I did add a bit of more text on it because I'm going to be running AC through some of the Wagos. I'll just let that open up there for a second. But what an awesome design. So he has a whole set of different lengths over here that you can choose from. Really nice design, so please support him in that. That's something that I think you don't really need to redesign. You can just use it from there. It's really good. Also from his side, he has the DIN rail brackets which go part of the Wago mounts, and I'm also going to open up this one in the background. I'm going to have a look at that as well. Yeah. So if we go to the mounts that he has, it's just going to take a little bit of time to open. So these are mounts with he's got a 52.5 spacing and a 62.5 spacing. Now those fit as part of his Wago system. Is also, it fits, you can use those. I just basically took the step file of this, and on the back of my 120mm fan, let me clip it off and I can show you just quickly. So on the back of the Wago, on the back of the BTT Raspberry, let me say BTT, back of the Raspberry Pi, I decided to incorporate those into a plate. So I just reused that design, used the step files that were there and just pulled them in, which then nicely lets me tie it into the heatsink that's on the Raspberry Pi already. Okay, and then I just designed the top, the bottom and the top completely to house a 80mm fan, and yeah, I'm sure that's going to work very well. So again, those clips come in very handy if you want to just make some of your own changes as well. Clip that back on there. Yeah. Then the last thing of his that I did use, and let's see if it'll open. And I'm still in two minds whether I'm going to use it, but I'll give him credit now. He has a design on the RatRig to hold the EBB 42 mount from BTT with cable management. I'm still looking at this. I've got it on at the moment. I might use it, I might not use it in the future. I'm still having to decide on it, but that is a super nice design. It's very clean, very well designed. It's very strong, and I think you know it's something that if you're going to possibly not have the enclosure at the top, it'll work well. I'm a little bit concerned that it's too high in the enclosure, so I might just redesign this slightly for myself. Anyways, I think that's enough of the credits. I think well done to those guys on Printables, and thanks for sharing. Appreciate it. So tonight is all focused about AC and getting the AC in. I I did design another panel, and I will show you that panel like that. So I decided I want to have a panel that sits on the side of the RatRig. Let me see how far we can switch, maybe to do that. You can see there, it'll fit in exactly in that position over there, and screw in without influencing the side panels that I'll be having on it. So that's one design I did, and I then bought flat fuse holders. I really wanted to have it as flat as possible. I didn't like these little screw fuse holders, and I also wanted something with decent lugs. You know, these lugs needed to be strong enough, and just, I want to use lugs because I want to be able to cover them nice and carefully, whereas many other fuse holders didn't have those lugs on it, so I couldn't do that. I've got 2 power switches, right? So I will be going in with my power, and I've done double throw switches, right? One is for the main MCU board and the heater bed and all those type of things, and the other one is for the Raspberry Pi and any other low powered item that I would like to keep on. I don't want to switch the Raspberry Pi off the whole time, and sometimes I want to be able to switch off the main bed or do something on the board. It's nice just to have individual powers there, and if I don't need to run the main board and the heater bed and all the other electronics, I can switch that off while I'm just working on things on the Raspberry Pi itself. Just nice to have. I did what they called, I used double throw switches, so maybe I can go, let's see, no, not that one, not that one. Now I'm going to try and figure out which one makes sense for me to use. Table and zoom, yeah, that's what I want. Okay, so you'll see I've got double throw switches over here, meaning when I'm going from my neutral to the switch, and I switch the switch off, both neutral and live, in this case, both neutral and live switch off, cut off totally. So between my mains inlet and the printer source, there will be no connectivity to neutral outside and no connectivity to live on the outside. I originally just had it going through with live and then neutral just going straight through to the board, but I thought I got a suggestion via one of the Facebook pages, and the guy said to me, why don't you rather put double throw in? It at least isolates the neutral as well, and I thought, well, that's probably a good idea, so I did that in any case. What I'm going to be doing, and I'll just maybe turn it this way for a couple of seconds, you can see what I'm doing over here, is, let me see if I can use this, well, let me use this as a pointer. So from my, as I said, from my neutral, I'm going to both switches, and then from there I will go to the different parts of the board. Although I actually only need one neutral to go right through, I will be putting the Raspberry Pi on its own neutral, which I won't connect to the rest of the items. Okay. Then, in terms of live, I've got a live coming in to the fuse first, which jumps over to the second fuse as well, right? And then from the fuses, I will go to the switches, and from the switches, I will go out to my different areas where I want live power. The reason why I'm going to the fuse first in this case, and I think a lot of people put the fuse on the other side of the switch, first go to the switch and then to the fuse. I'm putting it in on the side because when I have a power overload and I blow the fuse, my lights will not come on. And if the light doesn't, when switching on, the light doesn't come on one of these, then I know I've blown a fuse. So it's just a little bit easier for identification, and it doesn't really make that much of a difference to the whole layout. And if you're going to change fuse, you'll pull out the main plug in any case. So I thought that would just be a better suggestion from my side. If you're thinking of putting these switches and you want to know if you've actually blown the fuse, because if the fuse is after the switch, your switch will still switch on, it will still show light up. Whereas if it's before, your switches won't show up anymore as power's on. Just something I thought I was going to do. So I think the other thing that I want to do is I just want to show how I'm going to test as I'm going along. I'm just going to do some small measurements along the way as I go, so that I can make sure that I've got no mistakes. I know lots of people first build the 24 volt and connect all the power up, and then they connect the power to that board, and then they switch we do the big switch on, and then they wait for smoke to come out or not smoke to come out. I think it's a bit of a silly way to do it. I prefer to go for, first I'm going to connect the AC to my different panels to the power supplies, and then once I've got power on the power supplies, I will then measure the power supplies and switch on and make sure that everything's stable before I connect it to the next set of items, which is the Raspberry Pi and to the actual MCU board, because I don't want to blow that if something else goes wrong. So I'm going to try and do as much as my AC wiring up front, test it and make sure it's working, and then we can move on to the 24 volt and the 5 volt streams a little bit later. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do first is just finish wiring up and testing this panel. So what I'd like to show you, and I'm not sure if you're going to be able to hear it. Maybe I'll bring it close enough. Hopefully you'll be able to hear it. When I touch, I've got a sensor. I don't know if you can hear the beep. Maybe you can, hopefully. So just to show a double throw switch, how it's actually going to work. If I connect to that connector, which is the one side, and there you can see, because the switch is on, I'm having a beep at this moment. And let me put the display there. Even though you can't hear it, you can see the display will switch. So if I go like that, and you'll see there's display. As soon as I flip the switch off, you'll see nothing goes through. So it is isolating neutrals, and it is then going to isolate my live wires as well, right? That's why I'm going with a double throw switch. Also, live and neutral don't touch to each other in any way, so I'm pretty safe in that sense. Okay, to show how it's going to work in terms of delivering AC through this panel, I'll just switch over to AC and show you this. I want to glare on the screen, otherwise you can't see. Hello, Mr. Fig. Thank you. So let's put live on live here and neutral so that we just sort of get the right measurements here. Right. I think at this point I must say to you as well, if you are not comfortable working with AC, let me switch back to this and look you straight in the eye. If you're not comfortable working with AC and you haven't worked with AC before, it may be better to get a friend to help you, or to get someone that's actually qualified. It's not difficult to learn the basics over here, and if you're comfortable with it, go ahead, but please don't put it together because you saw me doing it. Do it because you're comfortable in using AC and you know how to work with it. I don't want to have any write-ups back saying, oh, I did it the way you did and I shocked myself. That's just not what I want to have happen. So anyways, I've been working with AC for a long time, and I've studied a bit of electronics and done a lot of stuff like that, so I'm quite comfortable working with it. Let's see if we go to, maybe not that one. No. Yeah, it's probably still the best view. Okay. So yes, I'm going to plug AC into this panel now, right? Just to show you that it is working. And at this point, I've got my fuses already in, and I'm doing that. The reason why I'm using, again, the full lugs, right, is because I don't want to close the AC points as best as possible, that you can't really just touch it. That's one of the reasons why I'm going to use the full covered lugs, just something like that, instead of it's something like this, which is an open lug, right? I'm just a little bit cautious of using the open lug, because you can get your fingers in there and do things like that. So probably it's just better to do that if you can buy those type of lugs. So I'm switching the power on. Hopefully nothing goes wrong, and we've got our probes over these 2 points. You can see I've now switched it on at the plug at the wall, and no voltage, and I'm going to switch on the top switch, which will then give me my 230 to 40 volts, and that's where my board's going to pull power from. Okay, to show you on the front panel, so there's the pilot light that's inside there that just says it's on, and if I switch off, the pilot light goes off. So if the fuse were to blow, that light wouldn't come on, and I would know that I've actually blown the fuse. And before I do anything further, I'm going to go start checking why have I blown the fuse, what's gone wrong in the whole system. Okay, let me switch off here, pull this out. Okay, now we can get rid of these, and we can carry on wiring. So again, from my live point coming in on the IEC connector, what's it, the IEC connector, I think it is. Yeah, I go to live, and then from live I go to the other one side of one fuse and to this other side of the other fuse, so that I can get power in, and then from the two other points on the fuse, I go to the switches. This one was already done. I just didn't connect this one this evening, just to show what it looked like. You don't have to do it this way. You can put your AC straight to your power supply directly if you wanted. It's not, you don't have to do it my way. Seems like I've squeezed this thing a little bit when I crimped it. Let me just open up that gap just ever so slightly. See if I can get this connect on. These connectors are pretty tough to get on. I must say, this is the part that most people building a printer say, okay, now it goes to the boring part. Can someone else do this for me? It was fun building the printer, like physically, but this wiring thing is not for everybody. Okay. So you'll see, I'll try and show you, pretty much all the lugs are now covered up as best as I possibly could. Yes, there are still tags on the inside which you'll never get to, but in general, if you touch over here, you're not going to get shocked, which was the important thing for me going on. So now I need to put a red wire from there, a red wire from there, a black wire and a black wire, and a red wire and a red wire from there, and then also earth. Push it into the printer a little bit here, and then start wiring it up that way. Let's get going. What I'm going to do is just turn this printer a little bit this way, and I'm going to bring in another camera on this side, just to make it easier for myself to get to. And then I'm going to also use that one. So let's see. Yeah, that's, you should be able to see nicely over there. And I just want to take my side cam, which has lost its color quality. The white balance keeps disappearing, so I'm going to just fix that. Alright. Okay, so let's get going with some additional lugs. I think I'm going to first, I'm just trying to think what I want to do first. That's the other view that you'll be able to see from, and I'm going to do just a view like this for a second so that you can see what I'm doing. So in terms, that's what I wanted to show you. Let's go from the side view here. So with the power coming in on this side, right, I don't want to run my mains all the way up to the distribution and then come all the way back and inside this panel, because it would make no sense to run the wires twice that distance. So I'm going to go from here directly to this power supply, and from this power supply I'm coming out and I'm going to come up to a panel over here, right, and that panel is my live earth and neutral distribution for all the other devices that I need, excluding this power supply, which is the Raspberry Pi power supply, which is going to come directly all the way through to here, because I want that on a total separate power supply, and I don't want to distribute that power any other way. I want that on its own direct connection. So in order to do that, first thing is I'm going to need to what I'm going to do is quickly build another lug or two on here, because I want to connect that over here. That will go straight, or it will go to this power supply. Just want to make sure I'm going to do that one with that one. Okay, so pull that off, and then we're going to go into one of these. Since the last time we've streamed, there's actually a lot that's happened in the printing world. Yeah, Bamboo Labs released they've actually released 2 printers since we last spoke, and it was quite amazing, of which one was a bit of a mess. Unfortunately, it got leaked out before the time, and I'm sure many people are sort of aware that are in the printing industry what happened there. Pretty unfortunate. The guy that leaked it out, I can tell you now, he's battling. On top of that, he's also battling with his location where he's living at the moment, so he had to actually evacuate due to some war scenes that are happening in his vicinity. Feel sorry for him, because his whole livelihood is on the printing and streaming. In any case, so yeah, but Bamboo released that A1 printer, little entry level. Pretty much, I think it's killed the Ender range. The Ender printer is no longer there. I think it's given Prusa a lot of appeal in terms of their product as well, their base level printers. Yeah, so there's been a lot that's happening at the moment in the printing industry, and there's been quite a few expos across the world now where the printing is coming back. People coming back to doing printer expos, maker expos, and things like that. So it's good to see that's on the roll again. Alright, now I'm going to put that one there. So I'm going to leave these lengths of cable in now because obviously I need to cut them to length wherever I'm going to be putting them in on the power supply. So I'll start with this. So I think I must bring this holder just a little bit closer to me so that I can see what I'm doing. Maybe I'll just put it closer now. Got this massive bucket of connectors, and half of the connectors I probably won't ever use because they just don't make sense in anything that I do. But in any case, I think like having to crimp cables again. I haven't done this for quite some time. I think Terry that's online will probably enjoy doing this. He helped me with my one printer the one evening. We were crimping for quite some time. So crimping can be it can be therapeutic, and it also can be non-therapeutic. So if you hear any noises in the background, obviously I'm at home, and I don't have a separate office. I work from a home office, and so the family are up and run all over the show, and up and down the stairs, and there's dogs and a cat and you name it. Everything's going everywhere. So yeah. I wanted to check this cable is going to be long enough to get to where I want to be, hopefully. But earth, I only need to do one earth to the main earth, and I can use that for everything. True. Okay, so I'm just going to use a single earth. I hope you're busy with your models, Terry. Utilize the time. Have a look here quickly. See, my father's also online. Hello. Welcome. Let's have a look over here. Oh, and here comes our mascot. He should be here as well. So I see there's some extra viewers online. So do a shout out or a hi on the comments, so we can just say hi to you as well. Welcome. Hope it helps watching this. Little tips that I'm trying to give along the way, and the intention is not to teach people really how to build a printer. I think there's a lot of people doing that out there. It's just to sort of document my processes I'm going through, and also any tips and tricks that I have in terms of building the printer. Like I prefer to do the AC first. Not many people would do the AC portion first. I just feel it's better that way around for me. Less risk. Okay, so that's those three wires, and then the wires coming from the top switch, they are not going to go to my distribution or anywhere else. They're going to go all the way through to the other power supply. So for them, this is not going to get all hairy with all these long wires. But look, this one, we're going to use these two wires to get the wire to the other side. I bought silicon wire. And I'm not quite sure if I've made the right decision or not to go with silicon. We'll see how it goes. It's easier to work with. It's neater to work with. But I think maybe in the long run PTFE wire would have been a better choice. Just for a longevity perspective, I think they last longer. Not that I think my printer's going to never get an upgrade. It'll probably get lots of upgrades as we go along. Oh, and these lugs, red, blue and yellow, they're all the same width and the same thing. And so for those that, like me, that had to first figure it out and figure out, so why are there different color lugs? It's got nothing to do with the width of the tags that it's plugging onto. It's just got to do with the size of the wire that you're pushing in. The yellow's the biggest, the red's the narrowest. So in where I'm pushing one wire in, where I'm pushing one wire in, I'm just using the red ones, which are small. But if I need to push two wires into the same lug, then I go, because the casing is so big, I go to the yellow, which has got a much bigger hole at the back, and at least I can get two wires in at the same time. So as I can see, it's mostly South Africans online for the moment. I think we're looking forward to our rugby this weekend. Hopefully the Bokke, our Springbok rugby team does well. In theory, we should be beating England, but you never know. Been some upsets along the road, so we can't always say definite. I will say one thing is nice working with the silicon wire. It's nice and easy to work with in that sense. It just moves nicely, you know. It doesn't get stuck everywhere, and it's not hard. And it's probably also probably why some people are saying it's probably not the best wire as well, because of its flexibility. But I used the silicon wire on my Creality printer that I modified totally, and I used it inside the print arm because the arm is doing this the whole time, right? I want something that can handle the movement back and forth, and that's why I landed up using that silicon wire. Okay, so now I'm going to start passing this through a little bit. Oh yeah, and wait, let me just. Also, a nice thing that I did the other day was I bought myself a heavy-duty Lazy Susie. So I'm now able to do the full 360 of my printer all the way around, and I can work on it, which makes my life just a little bit easier, because you keep having to run back and forth, and when you're streaming, it's just easier to be able to get the right angles on whatever you need by turning the printer towards you. So Lazy Susie. I don't know what it is. Lazy Susan. Probably that's what it's called more. Probably got to get my terminology right. Okay. Pull these three out. Okay, so maybe we'll take this camera and we'll do a side and a zoom for now. Right, so you should be able to see what I'm doing over there. wiring is a little bit tight over here, the spacing, but I should be able to get it roughly sorted out and screwed in without pushing too much pressure on these wires. Yeah, it should be fine. Okay, so first things first, I need to measure the wires that I'm going to be putting in here, and then cutting them, and then I can maybe remove the panel, do all the crimping, and when I'm finished with that, then I can come back to this and then tie it down and try to plug them in. So let's just give myself a fair chance of getting these cables right. I'm just going to put the bolts onto here. Let's do that one. Listen, have I been having challenges printing with PETG? I've tried. I used to use eSun PETG. Stuff used to print so easy, and then I couldn't get some, so I had to use other brands. And I want to tell you, the other brands have just made my life absolute misery in terms of getting a quality print. I don't know. PETG is known. PETG globs around the nozzle very easily, and because it's globby around the nozzle, when you look again, it leaves streaks and these little blobs of filament everywhere, and really not the nicest filament to work with. I'm gonna try and focus on working only with ASA and PLA as much as what I possibly can in the future, just to give myself a fair chance of winning. Just going to tighten that there. Tighten that there. This is just loosely tightened, just so that I can see if I can do the crimping and the measurement of the wires first. Okay, let's lift these two up. And now, the long ones we're not worried about now. We can do the long ones in a little while. So let's just chuck the long ones over. Okay, the earth wire is going to pull this earth wire through this way. Earth wire is going to come down the bottom, and the red switch, which is these ones, need to come through this. Okay, so I can bring the camera a little bit closer now. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to push that one through there, and I'm going to put that through there, and my live and my neutral are going to go there. So we can cut them there. Sorry, my hands are a little bit in the way, but okay. So those wires are going to go to live and neutral over there. Maybe what I should do is maybe I can lift this camera a little bit. Let's do that. Let me just switch over to the main view for a second. Give me a second. Let me just see if I make this a little bit longer. Like that. I'll be if I tighten it. Tighten. Tighten that one. That one. Right. I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to point this camera down a little bit. Let's see if we can do that. Maybe you'll be able to see better with my hands. Side and zoom. Yeah, you'll be able to see my hands a little bit better when I'm working. Yeah, that's better. Okay. Alright, so I've now cut that wire. Next wire. Thank you. Service with a smile. Coffee. Where am we? There we go. Coffee with some avocado dude on it. Cool. This wire needs to go from here to, so I go through there, run along there, and go up inside my live. So it feels like it's the right length. Let's just double check it one more time. That. I'm going to come up to here, and then it's going to go that. Yep, that's the right length. The neutral might not make it. Let's have a look. Okay guys, this is now just part of the making sure I don't cut wires unnecessarily. Like that. I'm going to go up to there. And it's going to go, yeah, I can use these two pieces. There's enough length in them. Cool. So let's strip that one. These are 16 amps, 1 millimeter squared cable, supposed to be able to handle 16 amps. It's fine threaded, so it should be fine. There's lots of strands on it, so it should be fine. It should be able to handle pretty well. Cut the wrong side there. Okay. And again, here's where I'm going to now use the yellow connector, because the yellow connector is slightly wider. I like to sort of like split the wire slightly. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing. Hopefully you can. I'm going to split it just a little bit, and then wrap them around each other like that. How much effective it is, I don't know, but it makes me feel better. So, and this is the tricky part, to get that inside there, because this the outer wire on this on the silicon wire is very, very thick. It's the insulation. So to get them in, it's not the easiest. Right, as you can see, I'm battling a little bit. it sticking out at all. So if I have to fight with this wire for the next hour, I will. That's the one negative about the silicon wire. It is really difficult to push because as hard as you push it, it just gives way the whole time. And pushing two wires into one lug is not the easiest. Okay. Right, let's see if that'll work. Oh, I'm an idiot. I put the wrong lug on. Already made a mistake, so let me see how we pull it out. Yes, I wasn't gonna do that. I'm just thinking about it now. Because these are screw lugs, I'm going to put screw lugs onto them. So let me try that one more time.
Be fucking real, man. Come on.
I see my daughter wants to come help. She's welcome to come and help if she wants to. As we can see, there's not much space for many hands inside here. But if she wants to come help, she's welcome to. I should have kept Terry should have kept Hannah here and got both of them to do the wiring for us tonight. It's been very, very, very entertaining. Probably wouldn't have got much wiring done. Okay, that's much better. And let's go from this again. I like to squeeze this thing in two places just to make sure that I've got the full length of the lug that's captured the wire. Alright, live is at the bottom. Phillips screwdriver is somewhere up. Pull that out. Go through there. So I've been trying to figure out what am I going to be doing for the first print. Still, when this print eventually gets up and running, which is way overdue. As I said in the beginning of the stream, I haven't streamed for about a month, and that's simply because of medical reasons and work situation and things like that. But yeah, I'm now back. I need to get this printer up and running as quickly as I can because I've got quite a few things planned for it. So let's see. But what should we print? Maybe I should ask seems though it takes so much family time. Maybe the wife gets choices to something that we can print. Gonna have to be something. The first thing's gonna have to be small that we can just see that it actually prints, and then the next print job will have to be something big because we just need to fill the space. And I know if I ask Hannah what I must print, I'm going to get to print a massive skeleton, most likely. If I ask France what he wants to print, I'm most likely going to get something to do with underwater hockey. That's something I really need to get going, as well as printing those protectors for the underwater hockey people. Hey, and I even heard France saying I must look at printing pucks, the puck sticks for the hockey guys. That's an interesting one. Never thought about that one. Simply because it's just everything's got to be imported, yeah. So if you don't know, I'm streaming from the UAE. I want to be careful using the word Middle East at this point in time because might trigger some negative thoughts. Now we're in UAE. Live in Abu Dhabi, so yeah. Very safe at home, yeah. Good country. So when we a lot of the stuff that we want, we do any exotic stuff over here or things that you don't normally buy, sporting goods, then sometimes it's difficult to get the sporting goods over here. So maybe there's opportunity for me to do some 3D printing in there as well. Okay, so that's what that looks like so far. I'm actually thinking of pulling those wires out there, possibly pushing them through that hole rather. There the hydroponic lights just went off, so I'm growing tomatoes here in the background as well. Not because we don't have tomatoes in the country, it's just fun to do hydroponics. Right, so we put that like that, because these wires, let's open up this clip. That clip. That wires are going to go down there. Where'd you go now? Why did you jump off? Yeah. That's going to go that direction. First get the earth ready. Right. Camera a little bit this way. I wonder what my wife would want me to print if she had the choice for the first print. Maybe she'll say something. I had surgery. I had foot surgery. I had to have a tendons in the top of my foot are a little bit short, so that it pulls on the toes, which means it pulls on the pad at the bottom, which means I don't walk properly on the pad, which means I walk on the bone. So you can't make tendons longer, but you can make bones shorter. So they made my bones shorter in my foot so that everything falls nicely into place, and that was 3 weeks ago. Off crutches already, and it's got a bit of a hobble, so I can't put too much pressure on the toes yet. But hey, one of these days I look forward to running and cycling again. Snow. We're going into winter over here in the UAE, so outdoor season, camping season. Got to get that first camp in soon. Okay. I must say, working with these little lugs is not the easiest, but hey, at least I'm getting this. Yeah, so live, you can't really see it there. Maybe what I'll do is just drop down there quickly. Let's see. If we drop it, maybe you'll be able to see it a bit better. Focus here, please. Not gonna focus? Hello? Focus here. Doesn't want to focus. There he is. Doesn't seem to want to focus on that area now. Put something there. No, it doesn't want to focus. Why is that? That's terrible. You want to autofocus? Can't you focus for me? Let's try that. How's that? A little bit better. Okay. So, live on the power supply, mark with the L, you can't see it. Neutral, and then the little earth symbol. So I'm taking earth, so that my neutrals come through to the middle, my lives come through to there, and earth is the last one I'm going to be connecting up now. One negative of having this thing on this turny base is it wants to turn the whole time. I've just got to hold on. There we go. One thing is working with these DIN rails, you've got a bit of play. You always got to be careful with that. You don't push too hard. Alright, so let's have that earth wire come in there. And this earth wire come down here. Take the clip out again and just thread it through. Okay, if it will, and it cannot, why not? Come on. Oh, goodness. Alright, let's remove the clip. That's why we had the clips there in the first place. And I pushed the clip off again. And you believe it. Okay, let's try that again. this clip design is not. It's supposed to stay in place, but I find that they pop off a little bit. Yeah. Okay. So these wires are now going to go down that way. So let's just get them there roughly where they need to be. Red and green, red and black, light and neutral. So at this point where the RatRig instructions, you can try and follow them to a limited degree, but they don't cover too much on the AC side, and sort of like, although I think it has improved slightly, I think there's still good reason for not wanting to suggest how to do your AC yourself or for them 100%, because it is probably a little bit dangerous to sort of prescribe and let a third person that's not comfortable working with AC just the first time go for it on their own. I think everybody is always a little bit more cautious in that sense, saying, you know what, we don't want to tell you how to do it. If you know anything about AC, you'll know what you're doing. Okay. Right. So now we can move a little bit, maybe a bit this way. Come a little bit more this way. And I'm now going to, not that one. Let's move this one, that side. And give you a bit more area to see what I'm doing. Okay. So this one I'm going to take up to my live over here. And I wanted to show you something on Wago. Let me see if I can pull one of these out for now. Yes. On the side of a Wago 221, let me see if you can, maybe get this to zoom in there. Maybe not. Oh, there you go. You can see there's 11. That gives you the distance that you need to push the wire in. So you can strip away about 10 millimeters of stuff and then push it in, and you will then at least get it in. So I'm cutting off about 10 millimeters of insulation on the wire. So look, do this one up to there. And what I love about the way it goes is it's really easy to wire this in. So you just pull little flap up, push the wire to the back. That's it, done. It's so easy, so satisfying. Wire the same. tight. Let's do it more this way. Neutral. In, and then earth. A little bit too tight. Out there. And you'll see why I'm going to use these Wagos with all the different lives and neutrals and stuff like that, because I'm also going to be putting in active heater chamber. So I'm going to need more AC going through the SSRs to heat up the whole system. Okay, so that's that stage done. Okay, now I'm going to come back a little bit and come back to the two wires that I had at the top lying here, which are now the wires that are going to go all the way through to the to this power supply, because it's on a separate switch. The earth for this will also come from here, so I'll just do a straight earth to there. So let's open up the clip and just slide that in before close that. Right. Same with that one. And this one I'm going to let it go down that side. Right. Like that. Let's see, this is probably easier for this one to be lifted. Like that. Right, now I can start threading these wires through. Like that. This one I think I'm just going to open up. It's going to be easier to get it through there. Right. Like that. I'm out of view again. Let's turn the camera a little bit. And let's pull those wires through. A lot of this wiring you're also not going to see, because there's about a zillion clips that come into play here when I'm finished. But I purposely wanted to put my AC on this rail over here. Keep my AC here. I'm going to try and keep this only for a bit of DC, but more for kind of wiring of motors and that type of stuff. I do realize I've got to get motor wire from the bottom up here, and it's got to go past all this AC. So I am considering bringing it up the channel and then back. We'll see what we do when we get there. Okay. keep feeding this along, yeah. Okay, right. Let's not using this cable. So let's zoom in a little bit on this corner where I'm busy here now. Turn that one slightly so you can see what I'm doing. Evelyn Mighty Thunder. How are you? You're welcome to come and help if you want, but I don't think it's going to be very easy for you to help tonight because there's not much wiring. I'm actually almost finished with some of the AC work. Actually, mind you, I could probably wire up the SSRs as well while I'm about it tonight, because that's not going to make a difference. Okay, this now. Difficult to get through that one there. Where's my AC connection? My AC connection's on the bottom here. Right, cool. Flap those open a little bit. Get that wiring through there. Get the rest of the way through. Okay. Spin this machine around again and grab one of these yellow clips, because I believe live will go through there, neutral will go through there. And where's Earth? Earth needs to come in as well. So let's put an Earth in as well. Earth. There you go. Okay. I'm going to go down that one as well. Maybe that one. No. We're going to earth the frame of the printer because we're working with a AC bed. The chances that the AC bed actually can short are there. Highly unlikely, but we've got to take that into account for safety sakes. We're going to earth the bed, earth the frame. We're going to earth the bed as well, just so that we don't have any possibilities of getting shocked or fire hazards and things like that. It makes sense to make sure that you've got good AC earthing all the way through your whole system. on everything that touches AC. Right, there. Let's take this clip in here. Come on. Why won't you clip? There we go. All right. So, some lugs required now over here. And then we can do our first test on voltages again. We can use the multimeter and switch on the power supply. As long as we haven't made any mistakes, we shouldn't see any sparks. I think I'm going to move over. See if we can switch a little bit to this view. That's it. Coffee down the hatch. Maybe I can point this camera up slightly. Alright, and then I can take this, just move me around a little bit so that you can see better. Possibly even make it slightly lower. Go. Trying all my tricks. Oh goodness, I'm going the wrong way. Let's do that. This camera's got a better view, better lens. So again, there you can see, you probably can see the live, the L there, and the neutral, and the earth that we're going to connect on this power supply. Again, I'm going to use this lugs, but because it's only a single wire going in this time, I won't use the yellows. I will most likely use the reds on this one again. Okay, live. Neutral. Extra wires here. And we'll put the earth through that hole as well. And earth will be there. Right. Lots of little pieces of wire. Let's throw some things away. Oh. Actually, this camera gives a very nice picture. This Sony ZV-1 camera. It's actually like a podcast streaming podcast, or anything when they walk around and do these selfies all the time. That type of camera, yes. Not something that I would do. Something that Evelyn might do, or has already done with this camera, yes. I don't know if I'm allowed to reveal Evelyn's true identity. She might want to remain anonymous. She also has a YouTube channel, so yeah, it's not something that typically runs in the family that we do YouTube channels, but there has been recently that we've got it. She started a long time ago. I'm just catching up. Dad's still behind the times. What happened there? Normally the guys use the fork lugs here instead of round lugs, but I reckon, you know, if I have the time to turn the screw out, why not use the lug they can't pull out by accident or can't come loose? It's just probably better. Yeah, that's that one. I'll have to get Terry to audit me. Check if I followed the right compliance standards. Yeah. Am I allowed to wire a plane? I don't think so. I don't think I qualify to wire a plane. My father's also very quiet. All that years of experience. And so much as well. Makes you wonder. It's very difficult to hold this thing when it's on the laser scissors. I must say that's one thing that's a challenge is to hold something still while doing this. You can get a little bit of a sore neck doing this. How long have we been going? What's the time? 9:30 already. Goodness gracious, is that how quickly time flies? In an hour and a half already. Goodness. Calibration certificate for the calipers. Yes, I tell you. Wait, let me see. Chance. But made in Taiwan, made in China. No, maybe not. I can almost guarantee it's probably going to be. Guarantee it's going to be China. OBS just says it dropped connection and re-established connection. So I don't know if you noticed that. Did I lose connectivity for a little while? I think it would be pretty interesting, Terry, to actually see, in terms of standards, what is the training that people go through to do crimping and things like that. Because crimping is, it might look a little bit easy, but it's easy to get it wrong as well, you know. Probably a good standard as to how the wires must look and how many millimeters, and on the aviation industry should be pretty strict. Okay, so I'm knocking my mic around. I think that's the AC connected for the power supplies, and so I want to switch this on now already. There's nothing like be bold and switch it on immediately. Let's zoom out a little bit. Not that much. Yeah. You can sort of see what it looks like. All of this is going to be yellow clips eventually. Just the whole lot. There's like, I don't know how many hundreds of clips I printed to fill up this whole thing. So most of the wires would be hidden away. I don't see any good reason why I cannot switch it on. We've got earth going to earth, which is going to earth, which is going to earth. We have the neutral wire and the live wire going all the way through to neutral and live on the top switch. We've got neutral and live coming to this, we've got neutral and live coming there. It's no better time than right now to make it happen. But in saying that, you're going to have to give me a second because this plug is too short. So let me just get a longer power cable. In this workshop of mine, I should have hopefully a longer cable somewhere. Yeah, this it's not the most pretty plug, but it will do the job. Let's plug that in on the side, yeah. Okay. And I'm now going to plug this in. There. If I switch on, we shouldn't see any fireworks. Right. Maybe bring this. Just turn it this way a little bit more. You can see both those switches are still off. Okay. And let's turn on this power supply first. We have power. Little green LED came on there. And what we will do is we will measure, it's at 24 volts. So let's say that. Maybe we bring this camera down slightly again. And let's zoom in. I'm going to bring down the camera some more. There we go. You should be able to see that. You should be able to see that dial. Turn that way a bit. Okay, that stand's not the easiest to move. Let's push a bit more back. There we go. Okay, and I'll take these little clips off just to make my life a little bit easier to probe with. Get these probes sorted out. Okay, so we're going to measure the DC voltage. So on on this power supply, right, we've got our negative voltage, our ground, and our positive. So across there and there we should have 24 volts, as you can see. Okay, that's good. And if I switch that off, power supply should die. And voltage should drop away eventually as the capacitors discharge. Probably take a second or two to discharge. Come on, discharge. Nothing's pulling any power off the capacitor, so it'll still hold on to that charge just a little while longer while the capacitors discharge. I haven't got anything DC I can put onto there to discharge it. Okay. There you go. Yeah, it's dropping now. It's discharging. It's just the capacitors inside the power supply that take a little while to discharge, so that's not normal. That's normal. If you had a board or anything like that, it would pretty much instantly drop the power. There's no power. If I had to short that now, it would just die. I won't short it now. But right, so let's switch on the other switch, the green one, right? That means we should now have a light come on this power supply. So let's do that. I can't go much further. So let's just zoom out a little bit. There you can see we've got power on that one. I'm sure I'll be able to hold this up. So let's have a look. Common is that one, and that one. Wait. Over there. Over there. And I'll pick this up and you can see there's your 5 volt. Now I'm not very happy with that 5 volt. That 5 volt will have to be a little bit higher, closer to 5.6, 5.7, because the Raspberry Pi does not like to have a voltage dropped under 4.8, and there's no load on the power supply yet, so as soon as we put a load onto the power supply, that'll drop. But as far as I understand, there's a potentiometer over there where I can adjust the voltage slightly. So I will do that off camera when I've got more time to put clips on and hold the power supply steady. I'll also connect, what I'll do is I'll connect the Raspberry Pi, and I'm going to actually, in the next video, when I do connect the Raspberry Pi, I'm going to put on 2 multimeters, one measuring the voltage at the power supply and one measuring the voltage on the Raspberry Pi pins itself. But I want to make sure that while the Raspberry Pi is running, that the voltage at the pin level, not before the wires, because there's a voltage drop over the wires. I want the voltage to be at least 5.2, I think 5.2 or I think it's 5.2 or 5.4 volts going to the Raspberry Pi. I think you can handle up to 6.2. I'll get the specs and then just have a look a little bit more around the specs later. Looking at the time, I've got 20 minutes that I said, so let's switch off that. As you can see, no smoke. We don't plan to have smoke in this stream at all. Not necessary. In theory, if we do everything correct and we work systematically, then we should be fine. Okay, so that wire's over there. Right, so just in terms of the SSRs, one will be for the heated bed and one will be for the internal chamber heaters that I'm going to be putting in. I'm going to be putting in these PTC heaters just to heat up. Let me see where we can get there. I'm not going to focus. Come on, focus on that. Yes, we're going to be putting PTC heaters so that we can heat up the chamber actively. And that's going to go through SSRs because we're going to regulate the voltage and the heat on those from the main board. So a 24 volt controlling an AC heating element. And in order to get these SSRs up and running, we've got two sides. We've got an input side, which is the 24 volts that comes from the MCU. It's going to help us control that. And we're on the bottom side. I've purposely put them upside down so that my AC is on the bottom again. And so I'm going to go from a neutral to whichever devices directly, but my live wires will come into through the SSR each time. So basically I'm just going to be putting a wire from there to there and from there to there, which I think at this point it doesn't make sense to sit and do that now. I can do that at a later stage when I get to actually doing the whole wiring up of the bed. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to call it a day there. It's definitely a progress. We've got power inside the unit. I must say, I like my son. Let me see if I can get a side view here. I like my little panel. That's really neat. Going to be easy to work with. I've got my fuses on the outside, easy to switch, easy to identify what's what. Red is for the heavier stuff like the heated bed, and green is for the Raspberry Pi. That's software over there. So yeah, that's going to be easy to work with, and I'm happy. So if you've got any comments, don't feel shy. Put them in the comments afterwards. I'd love to have more input. The more input I can get, the better. Any suggestions? And again, thank you to the guys that I've been able to consume their designs on Printables. Appreciate your efforts as well there. And that's it maybe for tonight. I hope you all have a good week. My next stream. I'm not going to plan the streams long ahead of time. I'm pretty much going to see, well, next stream I'm ready for it and I'm going to do it because I need to start pushing the tempo at which I'm building this printer now. I need to get it done faster and faster and faster. So it won't be once a week. It could be twice a week. It could be 3 times a week. I'm just going to go as and when I'm ready. I will start putting up the next live, but I'll normally post at least a day before on YouTube saying I'm going live tomorrow night for a stream. Anyway guys, thank you very much, and I hope it was useful. Have a good evening.